Boom.
Hi, every pony, and welcome to Macintosh and Mod, the show about My Little Pony from two adults who love it in spite of their children.
Welcome to Macintosh and Mod. I'm Diana, aka Mod.
And I'm David, aka Macintosh.
And it's Season 5, Episode 26, the Cutie Re-Mark Part 2. So, we watched the last one.
What?
And so, now we're doing this one. It's two-parter, which means, David, you have to recap the recap.
Starlight glimmers back. She made a time machine. Dash didn't do a rain boom. The friends never got to bond. The past got changed and the future is bad. Or maybe even worse. Not a real intense recap here, actually. I didn't have a whole lot to say.
My little pony, my little pony, ah. We're in the Everfree Forest. Wait, we're not changelings. I'm a pony and he's a dragon. A likely story. Do something dragonish. And he belches in her face. That works. The servants of Chrysalis will do anything to save their evil skins. I don't know, but it stopped when I started talking. So then Zecora comes in and, Twilight asks, please listen to us. And Zecora's got a salve. And she says, okay, you won't be able to hide yourself if you're a changeling. And I put this on you. So she puts the salve on her face, which looks just like what the other ponies are wearing. And it glows. What does that mean?
The meaning is far worse, I see. For it is we who should not be.
I think I can explain. And so Zecora's like, yeah, sure, but we got to keep going because Chrysalis and her army are coming. They're on their way. So we walk further into the forest and we're seeing lookout ponies, and Zecora's explaining that the changelings took over not long ago. So I'm guessing, because Zecora is in tune to all this stuff, I'm guessing where you're from, that's not what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight says, yeah, she tried to take over Canterlot, but me and my friend stopped her.
Those friends as you know them are not here, alas, but tell me how all this came to pass.
Starlight Glimmer, a pony who traveled back in time to stop my friends and me from ever coming together.
And it is these friends you have in life that keep Equestria free from strife?
I guess so, but this is the second time I've come back, and this world is even worse than the last one. If Starlight keeps doing the same thing in the past, how could the present be so different?
And now, Zecora does time travel explanation.
She says she explains that time is a river, and they're walking down the river, and she puts her hoof in, and then the water moves somewhere different. And it's just the effects are felt later.
Which I think we've actually come around to. That's not possible in most time travel theories, but it's a kid show. I'm not going to give them too much guff.
And so they've come to a certain point, and Zecora moves a branch, and we see that this is where they've set up a new village. We see all of our townie friends.
This is cozy.
We see Rarity and Rainbow Dash jump out of the woods, and they're yelling.
Ah, please, you have to help us. The changelings attacked Ponyville. We barely escaped with our lives. The only changeling attack I see is the one that comes here looking for me.
And then Applejack saunters in all sassy-like, very un-Applejack.
Mm-hmm. It's taken quite a while to find you, Zecora.
And with this evil laugh, and Applejack transforms into Queen Chrysalis.
What a lovely village you've chosen to stage your little resistance. It looks absolutely delicious. Oh, come now, Zecora, you're vastly outnumbered.
And so we see Rainbow Dash and Rarity, they turn into changelings, and then all of a sudden the entire encampment is surrounded by changelings.
Oh, no.
Nope.
This is not good.
Not great.
I know you don't want your charges hurt. Come quietly to the dungeons of Canterlot, and I promise to leave the others alone.
Why would she ever trust you? Even if there's a chance Chrysalis would honor her word, shouldn't you try?
Race to the map while we hold off their attack. Stop Starlight and put the whole world back on track.
So Twilight starts running off. She grabs Spike and she is gone.
Time to make a decision, Zecora. Even if what you are saying were true, we'd never surrender to a creature like you. And battle.
Yeah, so we see them starting to fight, and Twilight is running off, and the changelings are gaining on her, and so she zaps herself to the table and then through the portal. And she goes through the portal, and as soon as she enters, she puts a force field around herself to dodge Starlight's zaps. And then
we're learning.
So she learned something, and then she tries to zap Starlight Glimmer, but she gets out of the way. Not that, but it's going to take a lot more than that. Lucky for you, there's more where that came from. So they keep zapping back and forth, and they keep missing each other. You've really got to work on your aim. And so, like, it goes back and forth, and they keep missing each other, and now they're both, like, really out of breath. Like, exhausted. And then we hear some chewing.
Whoa!
And we see young Rainbow Dash and the other foals, and they are just watching this. They're eating popcorn. What are you doing? You have to finish your race.
No way! This is way more exciting.
See? You can't stop me no matter what you do. So Twilight Sparkle gets zapped away, and Rainbow Dash throws her popcorn.
Oh, man!
And so now we get zapped back to the table, and it's Twilight and Spike, and they're just,
That's strange.
Well, you obviously don't mean us falling, because that's becoming pretty routine.
Annoyed Twilight is always entertaining.
Yep.
No, it's just the other times we've come back, it's been day, but look.
Why would the map bring us back to a different time of day than when we left? And then we hear all these branches cracking.
Maybe we should figure it out later?
And now the Timberwolves have shown up, and they're jumping on the table. And now Twilight's having trouble with her magic, and so they try to run in a direction, and then when they turn the other direction, they see the castle of the two sisters. Woo! So
well, don't just stand here.
So they run to the castle, and they go inside, but it doesn't look like it did the last time we saw it. This time, it's all decorated in Princess Luna Nightmare Moon regalia.
This place looks a lot cleaner than I remember.
Rarity? And we see Rarity, who's got her hair all like, both her mane and her tail are all in a bun.
The castle isn't open for viewings today. The tapestries all need changing. Again. Rarity! It's me! Well, I don't socialize with dragons. I don't know any pony who would.
Ew.
Not canon. AU Rarity.
I'm not, because this is an alternate timeline, and we know this eventually gets fixed, I am not calling ew. I'm not going to deduct any points.
Thank you.
Because this is the only bad thing she says. If she had gone any further, she'd be losing a point.
Ooh, it's not good.
No, it's bad. Rarity, you have to listen to me. The future of Equestria is at stake.
I don't know how you know my name, but I am far too busy to entertain some tourists' ridiculous fantasies.
I have to get back to the map so I can stop Starlight from changing the past, because every present I come to is worse than the last.
Time travel, you say? Now that's something I would like to see.
And Nightmare Moon has emerged from the shadows. Oh, and she's got an army.
Tell me how you came by this magic to travel through time.
And the first member of her army to start talking is Rainbow Dash, who's sporting a crew cut.
The princess asked you a question, and unless you want to end up in the dungeon, you'll tell her what she wants to know. No pony in my kingdom but me should possess a magic powerful enough to change time. Your kingdom? Who else?
And so we figured out that Nightmare Moon imprisoned her sister in the moon, and it's been that way for a while. So she wants this magic.
Mm-hmm.
And Twilight says, all right.
Twilight, no!
We have no choice, Spike. I can take you to it, but you'll have to get past the Timberwolves.
I am the ruler of all Equestria. Do you think I can't deal with Timberwolves?
No, I know you can. So, Twilight clearly has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nightmare Moon decides she's going to chain up Spike as collateral.
Smart.
Yep. And so they're walking through the forest, and we hear some zapping, and the Timberwolves are whimpering. Nightmare Moon's just zapping them out of the forest.
Just nopes them all out of existence. How does it work?
A pony from my time used this spell to travel back and change the past.
And now you will give this spell to me. With it, I will ensure that the elements of harmony are never found and my reign lasts forever.
But it won't.
What?
In my world, my friends and I found the elements and used them to defeat you, and I will do everything in my power to bring that world back. And so Twilight Sparkle zaps the chains off of Spike and then uses the spell again, and she goes back through the portal. Nightmare Moon screaming,
No!
So now we're in the past, and as Twilight Sparkle emerges, she yells, "Now more than ever, I know how important it is to stop you." And she has zapped Starlight Glimmer into a cube. Well, good luck. And Starlight Glimmer zaps herself out of the cube.
Whoa!
And so that's Rainbow Dash running by. Starlight Glimmer trips Rainbow Dash, and she sends Twilight Sparkle back through the portal. So this time, Twilight Sparkle, she's in this hot zone with Lord T-Rex zapping all of the land. Twilight Sparkle zaps back, and she accidentally puts Rainbow Dash in a cube instead. Starlight Glimmer just is laughing and clapping. She sends her back. Now Twilight Sparkle is in a clown universe with Discord chasing Celestia and Luna, who are also dressed up as clowns. I wish we could have explored that land a little bit longer because that would have been interesting.
I mean, Discord's kind of fun, so...
Yeah, but still, it's not great.
Yeah.
Then we go back again. We get zapped back to a land where Flim and Flam are destroying everything.
Oh, that one's creepy as fuck.
That one is super creepy, but also kind of cool. And again, I like the call to the different villains we've had, especially Flim and Flam, because they were not a conventional villain. Then we go back through, and now we're back in the past, up for another race-ending fight. Twilight? No, you were right. I can't stop you. So now Twilight Sparkle, she's landed on a cloud. But you can't stop me from trying, and we could be stuck doing this for all of eternity. If that's what it takes to keep you and your friends from getting your Cutie Mark connection, then I'm game. And so now they're kind of like zapping back, like playing chess with each other. What you're doing goes way beyond Cutie Marks. Everything we do here in the past, even the smallest change, can snowball into an avalanche of trouble for the future. Oh, next, I suppose you'll tell me that the fate of all of Equestria hangs in the balance. It does.
It's one of those weird moments. Is like, I'm sorry, but it does right now. It's like, really kind of important.
She literally just said that in this episode. Like, it's true. Spare me your overblown ego. No group of friends, not even Princess Twilight's, is that important. And so now we're zapping Rainbow Dash out of her spot. I don't know how important other ponies' friendships are to the future, but I can show you what the world is like without mine. And so Twilight is getting zapped into the portal, but she grabs Starlight Glimmer as she goes. Mm-hmm. And now we've arrived in a true gray wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? The future, or rather, the present. But nothing's here. I wish I could say I was surprised, but every world I came back to is worse than the last. I don't know why my friends and I are so important to Equestria, but we are. I don't believe you.
Come on, Starlight, look around.
Like I said, everything in the past affects the future, even the tiniest act. And what you're doing leads here. I know I can't stop you, but I thought showing you this might change your mind. Change my mind? You don't know anything about me. I was perfectly happy before you and your friends ruined what I built. I don't know what happened that led you to make your village without Cutie Marks, and I'm sorry my friends and I had to take it away. You want to know what happened to me? I'll show you. And so now Starlight Glimmer uses her magic and she zaps the table, and we see that the hourglass is turning and the gears, and they all get sucked in. And then we pop back out and we're somewhere new, and we meet our rando pony of this episode.
Oh.
It's the kind of orangish colored pony, and her name is Burning Heart. This is literally one of two options I have this episode. So that's who it's gonna be. Where are we? That map of yours is connected to every part of Equestria, and this part is my home. And so we go and we're looking through a window into a house, and we see a little young Starlight Glimmer and another colt playing.
Mm-hmm.
Sunburst and I did everything together. In fact, I don't remember us ever being apart until today. And so we see they're playing with a bunch of stacks of books, and they've got them stacked really, really high. They're both unicorns. And the books start to fall over, and Sunburst is able to stop them before they fall all over Starlight Glimmer. And then he sends them to their shelves. And then, he rises up and he gets his Cutie Mark. And he's so excited. He runs outside and he shows others. And we see what we assume are his parents.
And most importantly, what causes those books to fall over? The sonic rain boom.
Yep. And just like that, my friend was gone. His family recognized his magical talent and sent him off to Canterlot. I never saw him again.
Well, why not?
Because of his Cutie Mark. He got his and I didn't. He moved on and I didn't. I stayed here and never made another friend because I was too afraid another Cutie Mark would take them away too. That's ridiculous. A Cutie Mark can't take your friends away. Not every pony's lucky enough to get her Cutie Mark at the same time as her friends.
Holy shit.
I love this for a couple layers. One, the main six did not all get their Cutie Marks at the same time. They all realized things about themselves that led them to get their Cutie Mark. They were not friends when they got their Cutie Marks.
Yeah.
So that's a very distinct difference. But at the beginning of this 2-part episode, we're talking about the Cutie Mark Crusaders who did all get their Cutie Marks at the exact same time, doing the same thing.
This is the most epic of callbacks.
This also makes me so happy. The episode that got me into the show was the Cutie Mark Crusaders episode, that first one. And I joked about how the way they talked about getting your Cutie Mark sounded so much the way girls would talk about getting their periods. And this is one of those things where it's like, well, I didn't get mine at the same time you did. And just all those like growing up milestones that are just like, oh yeah, when certain things happen, you all of a sudden feel like you're not a part of this club. And while that's very true when you're growing up, that's also true when you're an adult.
Oh, yeah.
I see that a lot in terms of whether or not you've had children, particularly if you're hoping to have kids and you just hasn't happened yet for you. Like there's just this strong desire to be a part of that club and you're just not in it yet. Or, maybe something not quite as, personally devastating as like, I want a house, but we don't have a house yet. Or I want a new car. Or, like just those things that make you feel like you've reached a certain milestone in your life. And when you see other people reach them and you don't, it is so devastating.
Yeah.
Can be really isolating too.
It gets into the FOMO stuff we've talked about with this show too, of a bunch of people that you would really love to be able to see and make time with, that they are able to spend time together and you're not.
Yeah.
And all of that gets put into this character.
Like all of that, like this is the way she's dealing with it is really bad.
Oh yeah.
But you can totally understand how that could happen. Like this is so freaking deep and important, and I love it, and I fucking hate this show for making me cry. All right, so Starlight Glimmer zaps them all, and they're back into the past. You don't know what it's like to lose a friend because of a Cutie Mark, but once I stop the rain boom, you will. And so she's using her magic, and she pulls out the scroll that they've been using to go back and do these continuous loops. And when I destroy this scroll, there'll be no way for you to change it. And so she starts ripping apart the scroll. Starlight, you're right. I don't know what you went through, but I do know you can't do this. I've seen where this leads, and so have you. I only saw what you showed me. Who knows what'll really happen? I've seen it a dozen times. Things don't turn out well in Equestria without my friends. Ugh. What's so special about your friends? How can a group of ponies that are so different be so important? The difference between me and my friends are the very things that make our friendship strong. I thought Sunburst and I were the same, but we turned out different and it tore our friendship apart. So try again, make new friends. And if something you can't control happens that changes things, work through it together. That's what friendship is. And it's not just my friendships that are important to Equestria. Every pony's are. When yours ended, it led us here. But just imagine all the others that are out there waiting for you if you would just give them a chance. How do I know they won't all end the same? I guess it's up to you to make sure they don't. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
The feelings.
It's a lot.
Feelings.
It's a whole lot.
There are just so many layers to this. And like it's not until we start going through and dissecting this that it like really hits me how much is in there, and I hate this because of how amazing it is.
Well, I'm really starting to understand now how important Starlight Glimmer became to people.
Oh, I get it. I do. I always understood that. She's never officially, a lot of people like to call her, like, she's the new main character because it's the main 7 now, but she's never really promoted that way.
No,
but
she's her own character. But it just, I would have never thought of that until really seeing this. And we've built up this whole collection of friendship. We introduced her character and she's so interesting. But to crystallize her in this way of being the pony who has always felt shunned by friendship, and to now go where I think they're going to go with her.
Well, she had a bad friendship experience and it has tarnished the rest of her life.
Yeah.
She was too scared to get hurt again, and people do this all the time.
Oh, yeah. It's so easy to do.
Oh, it's so easy to bury your head and be like, well, that was crappy. I'm never going to do it again. Friendships, relationships, or, just putting yourself out there in any way. I mean, creatively. Hello. Like, oh, well, one person says something bad about you. Never going to put myself in that position again.
Nope.
Yeah. It's depth is impressive. So Rainbow Dash flies by in her race. Spike grabs the scroll so it can't be destroyed. The rain boom happens, and we all get zapped back to the Cutie Mark table, and the castle has been restored. Spike falls to the ground. He is kissing the floor.
Mwah! One castle of friendship? Check.
And the doors burst open, and it's the main 6.
What in Equestria was that?
Is every pony okay? Can we do it again?
Oh, Pinky.
Yep.
One group of amazing friends? Check.
Yeah, Spike, it looks like we're home.
What's she doing here?
Actually, it's kind of a long story. And so we kind of cut to, like, seeing Twilight Sparkle explain things to the main 6, and Starlight Glimmer is waiting outside the throne room. She's kind of pacing.
I mean, I knew my rain boom was awesome, but I never thought all of Equestria depended on it.
Or on us! I think it's more than that. Friendship connects all of Equestria, and undoing one group of friends made its magic less powerful.
I can't believe y'all were able to travel through time like that.
That Starlight must be pretty magical. She obviously has more talent for magic than almost any pony I've seen. My magic couldn't stop her. I had to convince her to stop on her own. Once I realized that, everything fell into place.
But if she's as powerful as all that, we can't just send her on her way, can we?
Actually, I kind of have something else in mind. So Spike goes and gets Starlight Glimmer from the hall, and she comes in. I know there's no excuse for what I did, but I want you all to know that I'm ready for whatever punishment you think is fair. I've been thinking a lot about how badly Equestria fared without just one group of friends. Because even when one friendship dies, the results can be disastrous. I know firsthand how true that can be. And that's why I've asked you here. If you're willing to learn, I'm willing to teach you what I know. You'll have the power to make Equestria an even better place. How do I start? Starting is easy. All you have to do is make a friend. And you've got 7 of them right here.
And the main 6 all look and go, hi!
Ugh. And so, like, they all start smiling. And we have the scene blacks out into focusing on Starlight Glimmer. And we start getting flashbacks of her. And she has a song.
Because your friends are always there for you. You don't have to be the same for friendship to be true. Because your friends are always there for you. Around the world it's still the same. Together you have more to gain. There's nothing that a friend won't do. Everywhere you go.
It's just sweet. It's her trying to make friends and make things right.
Uh-huh.
And she's walking down the streets with the friends, and Rarity makes her a dress, and Fluttershy shows her her animal friends, and then she's flying with her magic with Rainbow Dash, and then she's bucking apples with Applejack. She's baking cupcakes with Pinky. She's reading with Twilight. She goes back to her village that she created, and she bows to the 4 main from that group. And, like, so we kind of assume she's apologizing, and they, like, welcome her. And then, Like, we end this song with them walking through town, and we see all the groups of the towny pony friends. Like, we see the Apple family, we see the Cakes, we just see all of our ponies that we see all the time, and they all gather together and look at the camera. And it's just so sweet and beautiful, and is actually a really great, like, series finale. But, oh my God, I hate this show. Like... It's just the
Big Mac's just grinning. That got me. Big Mac just being like, big smile. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful.
No, like for me, it's just them all looking at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is nuts. But it's like, no, like this is Equestria. Like these are all important ponies to this world. I don't even know how to talk about it. Like, I'm always caught off guard by how emotional this show can make me.
Oh, yeah.
And I will never forgive it for that. Like, I hate it because I love it so much. Like, it is so enjoyable and surprising and just makes me want to be like, everyone needs to watch this and like really watch it.
And I love the fact that they don't try to tug at your heartstrings. They don't try to hit you over the head with an emotional message. They just build your trust and love for these characters over time, and then they just write earnest stories. Yeah. That's all they have to do. That's all anybody has to do with what you're creating. Just write good stories that people connect with and characters that people love, and you will hit that wellspring. You will.
Well, this is wonderful. And we've made it 5 seasons. We've done a lot.
Oh boy, have we.
We've done over 100 episodes now.
I know.
We're still going to do a season 5 wrap up like we usually do after the seasons with, our favorite moments for the characters, our favorite rando pony from the season. We're also going to talk a little about our experience at BronyCon.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to offer a little bit of what we learned there and kind of how it's influenced how we're looking at the show and how it's going to influence some of how we do the rest of the series, because we're about to get into a place where we are not familiar with the individual episodes. We know what some of the key events are just because of the fandom and being around and not trying to avoid spoilers, but we don't know the individual episodes like we did previously. So,
and the world's about to get a lot bigger.
Yeah, and once we started doing the show, we just did not watch anything at all. We have not watched any of season 7, 8, or 9.
And Equestria Girls, for that matter.
Yeah, we just kind of decided, okay, we're just going to stop so that we can come to things fresh, so you guys get to experience it with us.
Yep.
And so that's definitely going to change some of how our show is done. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a listener. If you need more content from us, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Macintosh and Maud. We also have 2 other shows on the network. We've got Macintosh and Maud Haven't Seen What, which is our movie podcast. We take movies that we should have seen and we talk about them and fight about them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have one called The Doghouse, which is a Riverdale watch and review podcast. And we are current on that one, and we will be coming back for season 4 when that starts in October 2019. So yeah, we'll be back next week with our wrap up, and then we'll be taking a month-long hiatus to digest season 6.
Yep.
Yeah, before we start doing that. So until next time.
Bye, every pony.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Be sure to review and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. For questions, comments, and recommendations, you can email us at macintoshandmaud@gmail.com or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.